Hi everyone, my name is Shella Bolhano, and I'll be discussing to you about the grading decision making. So, in teachers' grading decision making, they are focusing on their beliefs underlying their grading decision making. So, their grading practices and assessment types and factors, they considered it in grading decision making. So, in some schools, teachers develop common understandings of what it means to grade fairly. And for advocates of standards based grading, highly structured district guidelines are recommended. So, in education, the term standard based refers to systems of instruction, assessment, grading, and academic reporting that are based on students demonstrating understanding or mastery of the knowledge and skills they are expected to learn as they progress through their education. And next, we have some districts allow teachers discretion about grading practices. So, each teacher develops a personal philosophy of grading that translates into what they do. So, the questions in figure 15-1 should be considered and answered when developing a grading plan. So these questions to consider in developing a grading plan. So definitions. For definitions, we have what meaning should each grade symbol carry? What should failure mean? For grade elements, we have what elements of performance should I incorporate in a grade? What components should I include for a final grade? For calculations, we have how should the grades in a class be distributed? Or how should the components of the grade be weighted and combined? And lastly, for the grading philosophy, we have should borderline cases be reviewed? Or what other factors influence my philosophy of grading? So these are the questions to consider in developing a grading plan. So, um, it's important um, that teachers understand the different purposes or functions that grades serve, the types of comparison standards are used, and the teachers understand the need to use methods and comparisons that best meet the grade's major purpose. So, grades often serve several purposes or functions. So the decisions and judgments made are subjective and intuitive. So when we say subjective, it is pertaining to subjects as opposed to objects. So a subject is one who perceives or is aware. An object is the thing perceived or the thing that a subject is aware of, while intuitive is spontaneous or without requiring conscious thought. So, there is no single correct procedure or set of rules that standardize professional decision making. So, despite the use of a grading scale and calculations of a score to create a grade, so decisions may seem objective, but they are not. So, teachers differ on the meaning of their students' performance. So, teachers have different interpretations of what their students' performance means. So there are a wide range of factors that influence teacher judgment about grades. So we have teaching experience. So means full-time employment, which included full responsibility for the planning and delivery of instruction and evaluation of student learning, and it is substitute teaching is not considered full-time teaching experience. Next one is understanding of the learning context. So, learning context refers to students' perceptions of the course and the teaching or learning requirements. So, the next one is knowledge of subject areas. So, subject areas are the specific areas of instruction in which courses are offered within academic organization. So, for example, when a course is identified as Math 101, so math is the subject area. So, next one is personal value system. So, a personal value system is a set of principles or ideals that drive and or guide a person's behavior. So, the personal value system gives a person structure and purpose by helping him or her determine what is meaningful and important. So, to be an effective teachers must understand the issues, make some informed judgments, and have confidence in their decisions. So, teachers often negotiate between several conflicting demands when making grading decisions. So, they may experience pressure to adopt certain grading practices. For example, practices that may not promote learning. So, practices that may or may not encourage learning. So, they need objective evidence of student performance to defend grades to parents. So, they require the objective proof of student achievement in order to justify the grades to the parents. So, district policies may restrict the nature and use of different grading procedures. So, district regulations may limit the type and usage of various grading systems. So, tension exists, but grading decisions should be based on what is best for learning and motivation. So, although there is tension, grading choices should be based on what is best for learning and motivation. So, teacher internal values and beliefs need to be taken into account. So, they provide a rationale for using grading practices based on enhancing the teaching or learning process. So, teacher may give extra credit to enable students to pull up low grades. So, teachers may grant additional credits to the students in order to help them catch up on their grades. And teachers may use different types of assessments so everyone has a chance of getting a good grade. So, different sorts of assessments may be used by teachers to ensure everyone receives a decent grade. And lastly, performance assessments may be used because they motivate and engage students. So, performance evaluation may be used to inspire and engage students. So, note in the following teacher responses how grading decisions are based on their more encompassing beliefs and values about learning. So, to me, grades are extremely secondary to the whole process of what we do. I have goals for what I want to teach, and I use assessments so that I know what I need to work on, what students have mastered, and what they haven't. So, I'm always trying to find some ways so that all the children can find success. Not just Johnny and Susie getting the A, but also Sally and Jim can get an A. Then, I generally think of their effort, whether I feel they've really tried and whether they've turned in other work. If they tried to make an effort to improve, I won't give them an F. When it's borderline, ask how hard a child worked during the year.